The night was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of stillness that sat heavy on the air, waiting to be broken. On the corner of Maplewood Drive, Mr. Jackson stood on his porch, rocking gently on his old walking cane. He was 72 years old, a retired schoolteacher, the kind of man who once spent his evenings tutoring neighborhood kids under the streetlight. His house wasn't fancy, but it held years of memories. Faded photographs on the walls, children's laughter echoing from the past, and a porch light that always stayed on for anyone who needed it. That evening, he wasn't expecting trouble. He was just watering the little patch of flowers his late wife loved. But trouble was coming anyway. Down the street, the wailing sound of a police siren shattered the silence. A black and white cruiser swerved around the corner and screeched to a halt in front of his house. The red and blue lights painted the walls of his home like a warning. Out stepped Officer Karen Miller, a white woman in her mid-40s, known in the neighborhood for her temper and quick accusations. Her eyes were cold, sharp, and searching. Her hand rested on the grip of her gun before she even shut the door. Mr. Jackson squinted, confused. He hadn't called for the police. He hadn't done anything. But Karen approached like she had already decided he was guilty of something. "Hands where I can see them," she barked, her voice slicing through the night. Mr. Jackson blinked, taken aback. "Excuse me?" "I said hands where I can see them," she repeated, louder this time, already climbing the steps toward his porch. The old man raised his hands slowly, his cane dangling from his wrist. "Officer, this is my house." "What's the problem?" Karen's jaw tightened. She scanned the porch, the door, then his face like she was searching for a reason to attack. "We got a report about a suspicious man loitering around this property." "This property?" Mr. Jackson gave a soft chuckle, the kind that came from years of teaching children to stay calm in chaos. "I've lived here for 40 years. Her eyes narrowed. She didn't care about facts. She didn't care about explanations. What she saw wasn't a harmless elderly man. What she saw was a black man who didn't belong. "You got ID?" she snapped. Mr. Jackson reached into his breast pocket for his wallet, moving slowly to avoid spooking her. But before he could open it, Karen grabbed his wrist roughly. "Keep your hands where I can see them. Ma'am, please," he said softly. "I'm not a threat. I'm 72. But hatred doesn't listen to reason." Karen shoved him backward. His cane clattered against the wooden porch. Mr. Jackson stumbled but caught himself on the railing. She pulled out her radio. "Dispatch. I've got a male suspect refusing to comply." "I'm not refusing anything," he protested. "Step off the porch," she barked. "This is my home." The neighbors started peeking through their curtains. The sound of Karen's voice carried through the night. It wasn't just loud, it was dangerous. She yanked the house deed from his hand when he tried to show it, letting it fall to the ground like it was worthless. "You people always got excuses," she hissed, almost under her breath, but loud enough for him to hear. Mr. Jackson felt something sink in his chest. Not just fear, disappointment. He'd lived through racism in the 60s. He'd marched, he'd taught love to children who didn't look like him. And yet, after all these years, here he was, treated like a criminal on his own porch. "Officer," he said slowly, his voice steady but heavy with pain, "you're making a big mistake." She didn't care. She shoved him again. This time, his back hit the porch railing. A younger neighbor, Malik, a 19-year-old college student, pulled out his phone. He'd seen too many of these scenes before to trust words over video. "Hey!" Malik shouted. "He didn't do anything." Karen pointed at him. "Get back inside." But Malik didn't move. Karen lunged forward and swept Mr. Jackson's legs from under him. He fell to the wooden floor with a thud, his cane rolling into the yard. Pain shot through his hip, but worse than that was the humiliation. She jammed her knee into his back, pressing down with weight he could barely bear. "Stop resisting," she yelled, though he wasn't resisting at all. His arms lay outstretched, palms up, like a man surrendering to something bigger than himself. Malik's camera caught every second. The shaking of the phone didn't hide the truth. It amplified it. More neighbors came outside now, some yelling, some filming. "Get off him. He's an old man. This is his house." But Karen only pressed harder, her face twisted with a sick sort of satisfaction. Then, sirens again. More cars. But this time, they weren't coming for him. They were coming for her. 2 other officers stepped out of their cruisers, their radios already buzzing with updates. The video Malik had posted just minutes ago was already flooding social media. The truth had outrun the lie. "Karen, what the hell are you doing?" Officer Delgado shouted as he rushed up the porch. He was resisting, she started, but Malik held up his phone. "Liar!" someone from the crowd shouted. Delgado glanced at the footage. No resisting, no threat, just an old man on the ground. Within seconds, Karen's entire narrative fell apart. She tried to backtrack, but there was nowhere left to run. The truth had teeth. Internal Affairs arrived minutes later. Neighbors gave statements. Malik showed the footage to investigators. For once, Karen's badge didn't protect her. It exposed her, and there she stood, the woman who came to destroy a life, being handcuffed in front of the people she used to intimidate. The ambulance arrived to check Mr. Jackson's injuries. His hip hurt, but not as much as the weight of years he carried. As the paramedic helped him up, the crowd began to clap. Not because everything was fixed, but because for once, the world saw. News cameras showed up later that night. The video had gone viral. #Justice for Jackson was trending. Reporters gathered around the porch where it all began. Karen Miller was suspended on the spot, pending criminal charges for assault, abuse of power, and racial discrimination. Her face, once hidden behind authority, was now on every screen. Mr. Jackson stood before the microphones, his cane back in his hand, his head held high. His voice was calm, but his words struck like thunder. "I've lived through worse than her hate," he said slowly. "But this time, the world saw. Hate doesn't scare me anymore. It exposes itself." The crowd erupted in applause. Malik, standing in the back, lifted his phone again, this time to record history being made. Days later, Officer Karen's mugshot circled the news. Her career ended where her hatred began. Mr. Jackson returned to his porch, where the flowers still bloomed. Life didn't magically fix itself overnight. Racism didn't disappear, but something powerful happened that night. A man stood his ground. A community stood behind him, and the world listened. Prejudice may hide behind a badge, but justice always finds its voice. The power of truth is louder than hate, always. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.